So cool. We're literally the coolest streamers.
I love that. Yeah, I mean the music, the guitar solo gets me in the mood to do some DevOps.
I tell you what, nothing makes me more ready to work on some .NET DevOps than an 80s guitar riff over top of some stock Canva Sparkle animation.
Yeah, I think
It's the way to do it.
I think Confucius actually said that once.
Yeah.
I think I remember
it was
that
an
quote.
addendum to Sun Tzu's Art of War, actually. Confucius had some footnotes in there.
And they're like, what are the 1980s? Like, just wait.
You're really not ready for it. It's going to be dope.
Woo!
Man, I just want to talk about the 80s now. Honestly. I've got actually, it's kind of a 90s hat. Do you remember Gecko? Was a surf company in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Whoa, weird. I haven't seen that logo in, I don't know, 20 years?
They are back, like, for realsies, and they are reprinting all of their, like, classic merch from the 80s and 90s, and they do it in, like, limited quantities. They'll be like, we made 160, like, splatter, puffy paint sweatpants. Get them now. And, like, you have to buy them.
Oh, man.
Quiet, microphone. You're so buzzy. But I bought a long sleeve. It's color changing. It goes from mango to white when it gets warm. And my partner has one that goes from purple to pink. So we've got these matching color changing long sleeves, and I'm about to go get it. Don't worry.
So, oh yeah, oh man, that is that brings back a lot of memories.
Oh yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, well, I'm getting one of these, and there it is.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I remember color changing stuff was all the rage, maybe the late 90s. I remember there was some, so like that one is heat, but I remember there's like UV ones. So it's one color when you're inside, and then when you walk outside into sunlight and UV light, it'll change colors.
I love it. Now, being in Florida, I have very little use for long sleeves, so that doesn't really get busted out until like November, and then it really just turns white in the armpits because it's so hot there in the armpits.
But then if you sweat, the armpits are lighter. Sweat will make it darker, so it just balances it out.
It's just confused. It just stays the same color. Like, just tell people all your shirts are color changing, but you're really balanced when it comes to your heat cycle. Yeah. I'm just balanced. That's all. Welcome, everyone. We got some viewers. That's always nice. And we are going to be doing some .NET stuff today, and we're going to be doing some CI/CD today, and we're going to be doing some more stuff today. I ran out of... You're supposed to have 3 things in a list, and I did not.
Oh! You watching Schmigadoon?
Oh, I love Schmigadoon! A third thing.
Turned out to be really, really good.
It's...
like... We started watching it because oh shoot, what are their names? Keegan Michael Key and the lady from SNL. I'm blanking on her.
Oh man,
Kristen Chenoweth is in it, and I can see everybody's faces, and now I'm talking about it, and I can't remember their names. But the cast is amazing.
The cast, Cecily Strong, is who you were thinking of.
Yeah,
and
she's amazing.
Jane Krakowski. Alan Cumming, Fred Armisen, just like, yeah, these are all the people I want to see.
Yeah, it's like this weird mix of like serious musical, but is meta enough to where it's not serious.
Yep.
But then you have all these SNL characters mixed in, or former SNL cast members mixed in to basically give the like comedic undertones to everything. But then it also gets like really like serious and heartwarming. Like,
Yeah.
I cried the last episode. The most
those
recent one?
shows catch you off guard on purpose. Like Ted Lasso, you're like, oh yeah, this is fun.
Also amazing.
American football coach coaching soccer, and what hijinks, and then you're like, and then you're like fully emotionally invested, and now I'm gonna go and buy like the soccer kit from the fake team, and I want to get like, yeah, they've got the Warner Brothers has like a store, and
Smart.
like they've got like the Believe sign stickers, and I'm fully in on Ted Lasso. I want to start having biscuits with the boss now.
Gotta make him yourself, though.
That's right.
Ooh, spoilers.
Well, it's okay. The two people who are on the stream. We didn't spoil it for too many people. But yeah, Apple TV's pretty good. Physical, about the woman who uses aerobics to deal with anxiety and like has a terrible husband, and she's also stealing stuff from people. It's like a crazy show, but really good. Physical, set in 1981 in San Diego. And there it is. We're back on the 80s.
Boom. Full circle.
Full circle. Huh. All right. So, this show is a show where we build a website called Your New Favorite Poem. And that's, we started doing this show almost a year ago.
Oh, gosh. I mean,
when?
So PJ and I started coding together May of 2020, March of 20, probably
May. Yeah.
The pandemic was definitely raging. That's right, because you were still teaching high school, so you were off for the summer. So I was like, I can't leave the house, and I have nothing else to do. This sounds like fun. Let's do it.
Let's hang out on the internet and do internet stuff.
But yeah, so I guess we've been streaming for over a year now.
For sure. Wipch! What up, Wipch? Wipch has been there since the beginning, I'm pretty sure.
Which remembers.
Pretty sure. But yeah, we are building this website, Your New Favorite Poem, all about poets that you may or may not know. It has had this exact design for a heckin' long time. You know what I haven't checked in a while is if someone has actually tried to add anything and we haven't verified it yet.
Yeah, that's right, because we designed and architected the web app so that anybody could submit their favorite poems. But we have a little toggle to where only PJ, the admin of the database, can approve it, so it appears on the website. So we didn't want somebody spamming us with, I don't know, invalid or inappropriate things. Butts, lots of butts.
Lots of butts.
So they could submit it, and we just say, thanks, it'll go into our queue for approval, which really means it's added to the database, but we have to flip a bit to make it visible. Speaking of is verified.
That's right, there it was. Yeah, it looks like we've just got the 10 poets that we expect. Okay. And that would mean, 19 because one of them only has one poem in. All right. Dang. The most recently added one is Maggie Smith, who just released another collection of poetry called Goldenrod. Maggie Smith is amazing. She got really popular in 2016 with the poem Good Bones. Really, this poem, like, everybody was talking about this poem. Not just poets. Regular people were talking about this poem. And it's great.
Ooh, that first line.
All of it. Every line gets better than the last. Everything. Like, you got to give yourself time to read it and to feel it. So good. Are you actively reading it, Brandon?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Any decent realtor. Yeah. I agree. 100%. Thanks, Maggie.
Maggie, you are unreal good.
That's I've had similar conversations with myself when you're just like, you hit a point, you're like, what's the point of all this? Like, what's the
Yeah.
meaning of life?
Yeah.
And I mean, the conclusion I came to is to leave the world a better place than you found it and help people along the way.
Yep.
And if everybody does that, then we'll continue to progress as humans, as a society, and the world will just keep improving.
Yeah. My third one, like, leave it better than you found it. Take care of each other. My third one is enjoy as much of life in the world as there is to enjoy, while being respectful. Like, you could go full hedonism and become a billionaire and like eat caviar and throw half of it away, and like you would maybe never have any regrets, but like moderation and an awareness of the limited resources that we do have. You can enjoy the world without destroying it.
Amen to that.
Which this is exactly what people come to this show for, is poetry and our philosophies on how to live a life well lived by PJ and Brandon.
There was two roads.
There are two roads diverged. I like that poem because it's about standing still. 3 of the 4 stanzas take place in a single point, and he never moves. Like the setting, he's standing at the crossroads. You never see him on the road. He's just standing there. And the final stanza is well into the future. He says, I shall be telling this with as a sigh, ages and ages hence. And so it fast forwards beyond the choice he made, and all he's doing is thinking about the choice now.
Right, because you never know the choice as a reader, right?
Right. He doesn't. He says, I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. But he doesn't tell you whether it's good or bad. He says that was the difference in my life, was that one choice. I feel like if everyone looks back in their life, everyone has a single choice that they made that they can recognize, ages and ages hence. You can look back 20 years and recognize that choice that changed the trajectory of your life.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can think about like something that, like, one of the big reasons I joined Xamarin was I had done my MBA. So I was working full time at a company in Florida and taking weekend classes to do my MBA, and then
just so everyone knows what we're talking about.
Chimed in. But yeah, and then while working on my MBA, I got really excited about working at a startup. And that's when I started looking around and applying to a bunch of startups. And that's how I landed the job with Xamarin. I mean, I can point to a couple folks who were critical in making that happen. But then, yeah, Xamarin got acquired by Microsoft. Now I work at Microsoft. And there's no way I would have ended up working at Microsoft if I hadn't gone through that process.
You took the back door.
Yeah, right. People always reach out to me like, "Hey, man, can you help me get a job at Microsoft?" I'm like, I don't even know how to get a job at Microsoft. Like,
guys, I fell into this place.
They just keep paying me, but yeah, I never interviewed for this job.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Brendan. Show up to a stream, showing a screen of YAML and PJ's talking about poetry. This stream is full PJ. Yeah, and like there's Halloween Horror Nights behind me, so it's really the 3 major points of my personality.
And really, isn't YAML just poetry itself?
Listen, I've only been working in tech for 4 months, but the coding is poetry. It makes me cringe so much. The big moment for me, and I didn't find this out until many years later. I went to Bishop Moore High School here in Orlando, and my guidance counselor told me, "Oh, PJ, you should consider going to UF." And up to that point, I hadn't. It was like junior year. We were getting ready for the summer to go into senior year, and she was like, "Look, there's this thing. It's a national leadership conference for Latino kids, and you should consider it." And I was like, okay. And so I went, and they were like, "You can apply if you want." And I was like, all right. So I wrote an essay. I worked hard on the essay. I attached my transcript, all that stuff. And I ended up getting in. And everything in my life, from just sort of like my guidance counselor being like, you should consider UF, to like this point, everything that's happened in my life has been because of that. I met a girl in college because of marching band who ended up being a serious girlfriend who moved to Melbourne. And I followed her to Melbourne. In Melbourne, I met a bunch of great people that are still friends, including Brandon in 2010. So I meet Brandon, and then 10 years later, he's like, you should consider coding. And now here I am working at GitLab, like totally changed careers, all because back in 2002, my guidance counselor said you should think about UF. And I was like, I guess so. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, man. I could have gone to UCF. That's a totally different life. Oh.
Yeah, I like thinking about that stuff because there's still, you can still come to the same result starting at different places and taking longer or shorter paths. But yeah, it's like some people will be like, oh, we never would have met. It's like, actually, in this case, like we were neighbors, so we probably would have met even if we didn't work together. It's like, but
my wife and I were trying to think of if we ever interacted at UF and didn't know it, or if we were ever at the same like restaurant or party or event or something and just didn't realize it.
Oh yeah, like I for sure saw you play drums on Drumline, and like I went to every basketball game where PJ was always on the drum set at the basketball games, and I didn't know
you probably at some point went, this guy's dragging. Actually, I was probably rushing, honestly. I tended to rush. I never liked the tempo that they picked for You Can Call Me Al, so I would always push it a little more.
You have to.
Also, I'm the guy that invented playing the Latin beat behind You Can Call Me Al at basketball games. It used to be at University of Florida at basketball games and now at football games, they play You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon. Way good song, amazing. And it gets like the whole student section gets amped up for You Can Call Me Al. It's a faster version than the original one by Paul Simon, but even then I would push it to play it faster. So it used to just be that a lot of the guys that came through to play drums for basketball games like knew how to play drum set, are great players, but it was always a very just like a 2-beat. Do get do get do get do get do get do 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 do.
Yeah.
But I got there and I was like, so during like the chorus, or rather during the verse, I started playing like a clave rhythm on the bell, and like a tom pattern. Dude, get it goot, get it goot, because it was world music. It was Paul Simon playing world music, and it was supposed to have a groove to it, and I felt like it didn't have a groove. So I started doing that. And that kind of stuck for a long time, playing that pattern on Call Me Al. So I'm amazing, is what I'm saying.
Nice. Are they still doing that?
As far as I know, whenever there's a drum set, last time I heard it was still happening. I know my visuals for the cymbal line are still being used on the drum line.
Nice.
I've got a legacy, y'all.
I heard the Dr. Phillips High School, which is where I went to high school in Orlando. I heard their cadence recently, and it's cool how like the cadence has evolved, and there's even pieces like they don't play the exact solo I used to do, but it's in there. Like you can see if I came in and showed them, they're like, oh, cool, that's where it came from. Like like you can see the thread, which is really neat.
It's always kind of neat to see where it ends up.
Yeah, well, things should evolve too. Like it'd be stupid of me to be like, wow, I can't believe they're not playing the same exact thing that we played 15 years ago.
Why aren't you playing the 2005 lick, guys? I was 4. Wait, nope. They would have been like 2?
Maybe born. Sure.
Maybe born. Babies. I don't know if it's my fault if my video's frozen or your video's frozen or we're both frozen, but
I see
you're frozen on my end. You're like this.
You're coming in.
Oh, I fixed you. Don't worry. as long as the stream's okay. Who knows?
Yeah, say even I'm watching the stream and it's good too. So
All right, perfect. All right, so
good.
I guess let's do work. We've got this CI/CD that we made last time. We finally got the right image here to pull from, right?
That was fun.
That was fun. It took a little time.
Ooh.
If you want to...
Sorry. So this image URL, mcr.microsoft.com.
Yeah.
There was an announcement recently that, well, let's go all the way back. So what we're doing here, we're bringing in a Docker image. And the default template that PG had found had a .NET Docker image, but it was using .NET Framework instead of .NET Core. So yeah, check out the last week's stream where you can see us struggling to find the correct image. And I think we tried 3 of them and finally figured it out. But I had never really done anything with Docker before that. My background's with mobile, so iOS and Android apps, we don't really use Docker.
Yeah.
But there was an announcement that I saw this week that Microsoft is removing the .NET Core 2.1 Docker image. I mean, it fell out of support. It either already fell out of support or is falling out of support. So kind of encouraging folks to upgrade. But they said it will always live on MCR. And I was like, what is MCR?
My Chemical
and now
Romance.
I see it here. If I had to guess, it's probably like Microsoft Container Registry. But what I'm piecing together
that's a pretty
right
solid
now,
guess, I think.
But what I'm piecing together right now is there's Docker Hub, where you can find a bunch of images to use. So basically, a Docker image is like pre-configured Windows operating system with certain versions of .NET or Java or Python installed. And it's really nice because you don't have to reconfigure machines all the time. You can just tell people, yeah, pull down this Docker image, and then you can run the code on it, which is what we're trying to do here. But yeah, so that lives on Docker Hub, but apparently Microsoft has their own. We'll go with Container Registry. And I'm learning all of this just by, say, struggling through setting up a CI/CD pipeline. How about that?
Happy to help, bud. Happy to help.
And I work at Microsoft. I feel like I should know this stuff. And I do a lot of .NET stuff at Microsoft.
You're doing, is it Maui now, right?
Yeah, it'll be Maui. So I've got kind of my Hawaiian sunset hat on. It's subtle, but
it's subtle.
Yeah, when we were talking about life journeys earlier, and I said I joined a startup called Xamarin. Microsoft acquired Xamarin, and now we're rolling all that Xamarin technology framework really into the official .NET repo and rebranding it as .NET Maui. So yeah, that's where Maui comes from. Multi-platform application user interface. Mapaui.
Man, Mapaui.
Silent. Multi-platform. It's all one.
Maui's a way cooler name for it, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, what did we? How did we do last week? We got build and we got it to test.
Yeah, build and test both worked fine. We are now trying to figure out what we were trying to do is we were trying to find a way to get the CI/CD to actually publish for us. And so we made this job here. The job is called Publish to Azure. It's in the deploy stage. And I just put a fake script here so that the pipeline will pass. It's just, tell me what the job stage is, please. And then it only runs on main. We do have the YAML that we wrote back when we were doing this for GitHub. So we can look at that. And it's in the GitLab repo too.
Nice.
It came over on the transfer.
On the old copy paste.
The old copy paste. So the build and test pipeline was here, and this is the deploy file. So,
and honestly, since all this is like, I mean, yeah, there's some steps about like bringing in .NET, which we do differently on GitLab than GitHub. But once we get down to like the publishing steps, if I remember correctly, those are all just like. Oh wait, they're not command line commands. It's right. We used. Oh man, that makes it harder.
Yeah.
There is a GitHub action that somebody else, probably on the Azure team, wrote that we could just say, we want to use this Azure/Web Apps deploy job. But we could probably find that Azure Web App deploy job. I'll bet it's open source, and I'll bet we could copy paste its command line commands.
And then let's do it.
Profit.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's right. Question marks. Profit.
There it is.
I can't believe you're sending me into enemy territory right now, bud.
Dum dum.
This is a joke. We use GitHub sometimes too. All right. Get it started. Let's look up here to see what we can find. What are we thinking? Action YAML?
Yeah, I was thinking Action YAML, or there's a folder called Source. That could be a good place too. But yeah, we'll start clicking around. We'll see.
Let's start with Action YAML, which Action YAML sounds like a terrible superhero. It takes some inputs.
Requires spacing to be accurate.
So inputs, outputs. So I'm assuming these are.
Oh, it runs main.js.
Yeah.
So this must be how you publish a GitHub action. I've never done that.
Yeah.
But because there's no like commands to run anything. This is like what inputs. Yeah, like you said, what inputs do we need? What are the outputs going to be?
Right.
How are we going to run it? So this must be how you can publish your action to be used by other people, which I don't really care about.
Yeah, who cares?
At least not right now.
What's a TS file? TypeScript.
TypeScript. Yeah, it's the Microsoft's implementation of JavaScript that makes it type safe. So it's like a type safe JavaScript.
Okay.
I've never used it, but I know folks that come from the .NET world, which is also a type safe language. Whenever they have to do JavaScript, a lot will defer to TypeScript instead, because it's similar. Feels like home. Well, there's a lot of steps here, huh? I'm already seeing you have to create a SHA-256 hash.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Profile.
Finally. I have never seen the finally keyword. That's dope.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's part of the... So, are you familiar with try-catch blocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the catch is there in case an exception's thrown. You can catch it, handle it gracefully instead of letting your app crash. But the finally block is there to run every time, whether or not try happens or whether or not a catch happens. No matter what happens, this is going to be run. So it's super helpful for things like, I use it in mobile apps all the time to be like, turn off that is busy spinning indicator, because you might be on an airplane right now and the app's trying to connect to something on the back end in an API and it might fail. And that's okay. We're going to handle that in my catch block. But no matter what happens, I got to let the user know that I'm not trying to fetch the data anymore. So I'm going to turn off that spinning indicator. So that's my default case for finally blocks. Probably a better one is disposing of resources you're no longer using.
Yeah. Oh, DNS Michi. That's he's my coworker and he's amazing. And I'm about to screenshot this.
And in my head, he's talking about me.
Yeah, it is. It is about Brandon. That's for sure. DNS Michi, it's like midnight over there. What are you doing?
Needed some help falling asleep?
That's right. My soothing voice. Aw. Hold on, I'm saving the screenshot. I can't see it. All right. Lord help me, I don't know what to do now. Because this all seems a little...
Yeah, it seems more convoluted than we need. I was really hoping to be there'd be a .NET publish command line command. So maybe we look up... I forget what we did last week, which is sad because it was literally 7 days ago. But did we already Google... Or what did... We did. We had to have Googled. What did we Google?
I definitely sent you because I asked in my company Slack.
Yes, that's right.
And I sent you something that was like, this might help, but it's a video. And I thought it was funny because it was from Channel 9.
Represent.
Right?
Yeah, Channel 9's Microsoft's. It was Microsoft's YouTube before YouTube existed.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like, we needed a video hosting, streaming platform. I don't know how old it is. 15 years ago? 20 years ago? Before my time. And now it's like, do we still need this, or should we just be using YouTube? And then some people are like, well, YouTube's owned by Google and they're a competitor. And it's like, yeah, but they'll host our videos for free. Like, we don't need to pay for the server costs. So win-win. And they'll pay us if we get views. Like, win-win-win.
Yeah.
Like, if a competitor pays us, is it really bad if we use that
bad? I will say, looking at the pipeline from this video that talks about how to deploy, there's like 3, 7.
It's a hell of a pipeline.
There's 11 jobs in here.
Scroll down. Is there a link? Usually we'll include links here.
Running GitLab on Microsoft Azure.
Let's try that. Hopefully that's just worded strangely.
Yeah, let me take this off of the browser and bring it over so I can actually see what's going on in the stream at the same time. You know what I mean?
Azure.
I am telling stories about you, Brandon.
No!
My mentor is a very handsome, funny man who works for Microsoft.
There's a lot of stories, so hopefully they're the good ones.
And hopefully many more to come. All right, so let me zoom in.
They're all good stories, but
zoom. There we go. Okay. Pre-configured offering and the wait, what? Oh, that's install GitLab on Microsoft Azure.
Oh, we don't need to run GitLab on Azure.
No.
Okay, so that's not what we want then.
So that's not what we want. Okay, let's GitLab in Azure.
When I make Channel 9 videos, I'll include links to like the code I wrote in that video. So you can go grab the code, it's all open source, and then copy paste. So that's what I was kind of hoping they did in this video.
No, well, maybe they did, but also like paste. We've got results. No, that doesn't help. I know it works for them, because it works. Oh, maybe we got some code here. Can you see it?
A little blurry.
So, staging directory, if NuGet restore, calling MS build to build solution.
So, yeah, I mean, we can skip everything up until MS build. So,
yeah,
MS build was the old command line command. You can see how it's an exe file, so it's very Windows specific. Nowadays, we say .NET build.
Yeah.
But MS build still works, just in case anybody's curious. You can actually say .NET space MS build space build.
So that's really it's the build stage. We want to see about the deploy stage. So I'm skipping around to see if they show us that at some point. Skip around, build, deploy.
Oh, it looks like we might be able to go to Abel's GitLab account.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Here, let me drop
That's
this
a really good idea.
Our chat. So gitlab.com/AbelSquidhead.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, Abel.
That's right.
He's a awesome dude who we lost too soon. He got some stage 4 cancer about a year ago, and it's tough. But he made the world a better place. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, the GitLab repo appears empty right now.
Oh no, Abel.
Which I don't
Stella.
Stella, I am wondering if that's possibly like a type of mistake or something, because I've seen something recently where I've tried to go to people's GitLab profiles and I've had trouble with it. I wonder, it's likely not actually empty. It's probably not
It's
public.
probably not public. Yeah, it's somebody. I'm looking at the comments, and somebody said the repo is called Mercury Health Full, and they said I can't access it. So that's the
Yeah.
repo that Abel's using for the demo.
Mm-hmm.
We got close. I
We
mean,
did get close.
let's see if I can dig up. I've got some Azure Google and experience. Let's see if I can find Azure web app, CI/CD, something to just at least get us started, because CI/CD is so universal. Like, yeah, we're doing it here in GitLab. Yeah, we did it before in GitHub, but there's also, I mean, there's Azure DevOps, there's like Bitbucket as CI/CD pipelines, there's Circle CI, there's Jenkins. So like, there's got to be just generic examples of how to do this for any CI/CD pipeline that we can hopefully copy paste.
That we can, yeah, we're really looking for the copy paste solution here today. That's our goal.
Like, copy paste and tweak. That's really what I'm hoping for. I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. Oh yeah, here we go. CI/CD using Jenkins. CI/CD. Okay, got some docs. Let's see. Man, there's Terraform.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was hoping to do some Terraform. I was hoping to learn something brand new. Looks like this one is deployment. Using Azure pipelines.
Oh, so whatever happened, because where we left it last time, we added a webhook into Azure.
Yes.
Did that work?
It
wasn't what we had planned on doing, but yeah, Azure has this ability to use webhooks, which is basically like an HTTP push notification. Well, at least that's how I think of it as a mobile app developer, under Deployment Center. And I'm pretty sure, I think it was there it is, in the middle or the bottom.
There you go.
Before you scroll.
There you go.
Thank you. And so in there, we connected a webhook to the GitLab account. And
it knows the repository, it knows the branch. And I remember it was doing something. And we got like something that was, it was that it was trying to run .NET 6 for some reason.
Oh, that's right. It ran and we got an error. Would that be in the logs? No, I'm trying to remember, like, where did we even see that error? Because all of this says, like, even when you scroll down, it says .NET 5.0, big letters.
Yeah. Yep, right there.
And then the build failed because, like, the build log showed it was using .NET 6, and then it failed because it's like, .NET 5 is not installed. And we're like, what?
So
you told us you're using .NET 5.
So if I can update main, I wonder if I could just run the pipeline. And that'll count as like an update. No, it won't. No. I mean, let's add something to main just for the heck of it, or like edit a file that doesn't matter.
Yeah, always commit to main. I think that's the point we're trying to get across.
This is what we're trying to teach you guys. Actually, I'm going to add another. I'll do it in the YAML file, and I'm just going to add another echo for heck's sake. just the same one because I'm not going to look up a whole new. And then, again, this is best practice. Also, this is sarcasm. This is best practice. Definitely always just commit directly to main anytime you change anything. It's great.
You heard it here first.
Literally, probably the first and only place you would hear something like that. To be honest. To be fair.
Also, that's what's funny when you start working on setting up a CI/CD pipeline, like all the rules around Git flow and best practices with Git, like kind of go out the window because you're just like, I just need to commit to main to try and trigger this, make sure it works.
Yeah. All right. So I found the logs. There's last Thursday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It said
That's
success. Today. Please don't show secrets.
All of a sudden, the stream goes dark.
I mean, it says deployment successful.
Ooh, we should change something on the website then.
I mean, we
should edit. I got an idea. Me, call on me.
Yes. Brandon.
I think your website still has a link to GitHub on it.
Oh, good.
So we can change that link to GitLab. And then, if all this was already set up, we'll know whether or not it published to Azure.
Yeah, okay. So let's go to your new favorite poem. Let's go to pages. And that's going to be on the index, yeah?
I think so. Ooh, I haven't looked at this code in a while. Yeah,
you can find the source code here. Oh, what a lie.
Lies.
This is.
The old source code.
Psh.
It's actually archived.
Don't go there.
Too. I like that,
That's
by
true.
the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Not enough people archive their old repos, and I wish they would.
I wish you
Highly
guys
recommend
would. All right, we're gonna again commit to main. Updated repo to GitLab.
Is it really the same link, just
index
lab instead of hub? That's cool.
Yeah, dude. It goes by user and project, so that's very funny, actually. That's also what happens when you use the same name for everything. Like, I'm messing around everywhere, and I'm surprised no one had it before me.
Name recognition.
I got metzingaround.com, and I can't believe it.
Nobody from Metz, Germany thought to create an English screen name using a pun also in English.
Y'all missed out. Metz, I think Metz is in France, too, technically.
Oh, is it? I thought it was in Germany.
I mean...
I am a dumb American.
I'm definitely not gonna argue about European geography one way or the other. I'm not doing that.
Oh, it is in France.
Yay! Success.
Close to Germany.
Active. I mean, we're gonna see if this is actually successful now, huh?
Yeah. Jokes on all viewers. We already did it right.
I 100% remember getting an error. It was like...
Yeah. Me too.
Are you ready?
Holy
smokes!
Oh! We did it! We had already done it. We didn't know we did it, but we did it.
To be honest, and I still do want to know how to do it with the YAML file, with the CI/CD for real, and not have to use a webhook. But the webhook's there, and this is what's important, is that there are options. There's not one way to do things, and these options allow you to do what works best for you and your business or your app, all that stuff. Jens!
Yeah. And Jens Wooster, welcome back, man.
Heck yeah.
Hope we got everything sorted out. Jens and I were chatting the other day.
Oh, yeah?
I don't want to share too much.
He saw me accidentally stream for 10 minutes when I was doing freelance work.
Was it good?
No, it was bad because so here's what I was doing. I when I first got stopped working as a teacher and dove into tech, I was without work, and so I got contacted by two companies to do some freelance stuff. And one of them asked me a few months ago if I could do a second thing for them. I was like, yeah, it doesn't conflict. There's like, I double checked, it doesn't conflict. And it was recording a video for their like cloud security thing.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
so what I was doing is I pulled up Streamlabs. Oh no, I pulled up OBS, and
Oh.
that's what I used to record myself. But I hadn't used OBS in a long time for streaming, so I didn't even think it would be connected to streaming. There's two buttons on OBS that are right next to each other. There's start streaming and start recording, and they are right on top of each other. I
Yep.
clicked. I had already done an entire run through because I have a script. I hit record and I just say the script line by line, practicing until I get it right. And then I have the big video file and I just cut it into chunks and edit it that way. So I had already done a whole run through where my microphone wasn't being picked up. And so I went back to re-record and I clicked the button and I started going. So it was like, you can see me going like 3, 2. This product is great for you. If you've got these problems, that was bad. All right, that was shit. Okay, 3, 2. This product is great for you. If you've got these problems, I think I picked my nose. I think I was burping. I think like I might have been like dancing to music like an idiot at one point. All of this is happening live on my Twitch for like 10 full minutes. And it was only Jens watching, taking screenshots. It all worked out because as soon as I posted about it, a bunch of people on Twitter were like, yeah, that's happened to me. They're like, there's a thing that you can in your settings, you can set that asks you if you're sure you're ready to stream. So turned that on real quick.
I also love that like we have these communities, these developer communities nowadays, because back in the day, I mean, heck, even when I started, for reference, I graduated college in 2009, got my first job as an engineer in 2010, software engineer. I messed up all the time, and I just internalized it. So it's like, oh, I'm the worst. Like I'm the only one messing up. But now we can almost celebrate it. I mean, mistakes are gifts, right? So learn from that mistake. I mean, make sure it doesn't happen, or if the mistake happened because there was no process or a bad process in place, fix that process, whatever it might be. But yeah, nowadays, like you say something and hundreds of people will chime in on, say, Twitter or Slack or wherever your community lives, Discord, to be like, yep, been there. And you're like, wow, like this really smart, super senior engineer, they did it too. Okay, I don't feel so bad about myself.
Yeah, it's honestly so nice to know that you're not the only one going through something, you know? So nice.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, speaking of like streaming and recording videos, I spent one time, spent hours trying to figure out why my recordings kept having an echo. It turned out OBS was recording via my laptop mic by default, and I was layering in my mic on top of that.
Ooh.
Took me hours.
Oh man.
And when I was trying to record that video, I couldn't figure it out. So I just like pushed through it. I think I just maybe turned off the fancy mic, and I don't remember what I did, but pushed through it. And then, yeah, like the next time, spent another hour or so trying to figure it out. I was like, oh, I have to turn down I couldn't even disable OBS from picking up the laptop mic as by default. I just had to like turn down the gain on it to 0 or turn down the slider.
That's weird. I, during the pandemic and then the year of teaching after, also now, still a pandemic, but you know, when it first started,
like it's not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Florida. When we first started, I started just making video content for my students. I was like, I'm going to make a video that explains the project and tells them everything they need to know, and I'm going to make it entertaining. So I started doing that. Then when I got to the next school year, we had kids in class and on Zoom at the same time. And historically, what I had done in my literature courses, we would read the book, and then we would watch scenes from the movie where we were pausing and adding analysis based on the new things. So we'd like read Gatsby and then watch scenes from The Great Gatsby. When I do plays, I stopped making my students read the plays out loud in class because everybody hates it and no one pays attention.
My teachers made me do that.
Listen, that was what we did. That's how you do plays. All right, you're going to be John Proctor, and you'll be Elizabeth, and you'll be Abigail. Make sure to read along, everybody. And the kids who never have to speak, they're not going to read along. And I don't know why we think that a random 15-year-old is capable of putting the emotion and gravitas necessary to play John Proctor in The Crucible or Macbeth. Like, that's not happening. So everyone's just bored. So I was like, okay, we're going to watch the plays first because it's the same language, and that's how you're supposed to consume a play anyway, is watch it. So
that's a really good point. Yeah, why do we read plays in high school?
And that's something that I addressed in my final year and told a few other teachers about, and hopefully they stop making their kids read plays out loud. It's hell. No one likes it, and no one learns. So what I do is, if it's a high-level class, if it's like honors or AP, we're going to watch the play, and I'm going to assign you reading as well, and the tests are based on the reading. So, like, we'll watch it in class, and I'm going to comment on it, and I'm going to give you help. But when you take the test, it's based on the play that you read, not the movie play version that we watched. So all of this is to say, when I was trying to do this with half remote kids, I was trying to run Zoom on my laptop and and watch a movie while sharing my screen and sound with the kids at home and displaying it in class and not get an echo. And the first time I went to do it, it must have been late September. And a kid on Zoom was like, "Mr. Metz, I can't see anything." And I was like, "What?" And the kids in class were like, "Yeah, and there's kind of feedback." And I was like, and I remember like I didn't know what to do. So I went, "All right, I need you guys to finish Act 1 tonight. I'll figure something out." What I ended up doing was taking OBS and playing the movie and like setting it up so it was like a picture-in-picture. Like, imagine like I'm the movie and you're me. And I would just hit play and record myself. Like, I'd stop. I'd be like, "Notice that line that he just said. He's specifically invoking winter when referring to their relationship. Later on, he talks about things warming up in the thaw. And, like, that's an extended metaphor." And I would explain, the play. One time I was doing Act 3 of Macbeth, and it took me an hour to get through it all, and my mic was off the whole time. And I didn't double check. I was stressed out, like dying, stressed out already. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and I hit play on the video I had just made to make sure it was fine, and there was no audio from me. And like, I think I like walked out, and my wife was on the couch, and I said, I need ice cream, and I'll be back." And I went and got ice cream. And on the final video, you can see me just eating ice cream and like talking about Macbeth once in a while.
I love that idea, man. It's basically like high school English teacher reacts to whatever play, or in this case, Macbeth. Yeah.
I kind of might start doing it again on Twitch.
On YouTube.
Oh yeah, I might start doing it again, just like being like, "Get ready, I'm going to do all of the Great Gatsby. I'm going to do all of Catcher in the Rye. I'm going to do all of Their Eyes Were..." I'm just going to pick high school literature that I know they're going to read, and I'll just stream one chapter at a time where I read it out loud and talk about it, because I would have fun doing that, because I'm a nerd. ZellWMS says, "So this is what my favorite class was as a homeschooler. We did Shakespeare and spaghetti. Read a section of the play after we did dinner together, then we'd watch the play. Try to find plays that were coming to the area, so at the end of," and it cuts off a little. Hold on. So then at the end of the book, you can go see the show. And that's how you should do it. That's how we should be doing plays. You have to see it.
It's funny. Like as a high school student, it was just like that's the status quo. It's like you read Shakespeare. That's what you do in high school. And it never occurred to me that like this is a play. It'd be like going to see like Avengers Endgame and just doing a table read instead. Like that's not how the creators intended it. Like Shakespeare created this so that people could watch it, enjoy it, maybe throw stuff at and heckle. I don't know. They did that, right?
Listen. Oh, yeah. They threw tomatoes at them because they thought tomatoes were poisonous. Yen said, I'd watch you read and explain the Iliad. Oh, I'd have to read the Iliad, I guess.
That's a good one.
I did the Odyssey. It fell out of favor in like the around 2013, 2014. They stopped doing the Odyssey as much in the classroom. But when I started teaching, that was a 9th grade staple. You did the Odyssey. And to your point, Brandon, ZellWMS says people forget a lot of Shakespeare was penny theater. Yeah, it was R-rated movies, which is why the best versions of Shakespeare-like movies are a little bawdy and are a little racy and are a little like violent. I was rewatching the 1996 Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio this morning.
Yeah,
I love it.
God, he did that.
It's good. Yeah. It's the original Shakespearean language, and instead of swords, they have guns. And I'm like, I'm sold. I'll watch it all day.
Yeah, that's the other thing I don't really understand is, we hold up Shakespeare as being this linguistic genius, and Dungaragi is.
Absolutely correct.
He spoke a different English than we speak nowadays. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you have to pause and explain the puns and why this is funny or why this is clever, maybe we should be teaching that nowadays. Like, can we find somebody we can actually understand?
Like, I would argue that it is an important skill for teenagers, especially because that's when they should be using context clues to figure things out. And it's a totally different English, but it's like once you do understand it, it's brilliant. And like, it's really cool. And I know I'm nerding out, but I was also the teacher that when I did Julius Caesar for sophomores, I was like, and at the end, we're going to watch Mean Girls. And I would show scenes from Mean Girls because it's the same story.
What?
They even reference Julius Caesar in Mean Girls. Like the one girl writes an essay and reads an essay about how we should totally stab Caesar. And it's when she's getting mad at the Queen Bee.
Wow.
Mean Girls might be one of the best films with a capital F of all time.
I think the conclusion we're getting to here is, instead of reading Shakespeare, we should be watching Mean Girls for AP Literature.
That's right. AP Lit, don't worry about Macbeth, Much Ado About Nothing. What's the other one? Hamlet. They're not going to put that on the AP test. You know what they're going to put on the AP test? Mean Girls.
Right.
Specifically the musical.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Mean Girls the musical. It's just decent. It's not bad. It was a real Broadway musical. I want to say 4 years ago.
Cool.
Pretty much anything Tina Fey does, I'm instantly a fan of, to be honest. So,
for sure. So where do we go from here, PJ? We were planning on setting up CI/CD for Azure, and turns out we did. We kind of accidentally already stumbled into it.
Yeah.
Do we? Because what we could do, you mentioned this a minute ago. Well, I guess 10 minutes ago.
Many minutes ago.
Like an hour ago. Because right now with the webhooks, Azure is listening to a webhook that GitLab is pushing anytime there's a commit to main. And then Azure's doing all the heavy lifting, which honestly is fine. But if somebody came along and said, okay, cool, but I still need to know how to do it via my CI/CD pipeline, like, because CI/CD pipelines can also have gates in them that looks like Azure doesn't have that many features, right? Like, or at least the way Azure set up the webhooks to do the CI/CD deployment stuff. It's basically publish to main. And anytime we commit to main, it's going to automatically update the website when in reality, like if we were running a company, that could have drastic consequences. Like somebody accidentally merges the commit, immediately reverts it, but that code is already out live. Like, it just brings down the database because there was a migration involved. So in reality, what you should do is have gates set up in your release pipeline to where you have at least one approver that has to come in and like say yes, or something like that. So I can see where somebody would still want to set this up manually.
You want that that approver is an important step, but a lot of times if you're doing CI/CD and not just continuous development, which requires an approver, if you're doing continuous deployment, it's continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery. It's the other D. There's 2 Ds in CD for some reason.
CDD.
CDD. So there's one that still requires the manual checking, but if we write it in such a way that like if something fails, if something goes wrong, and that's what I'm thinking, prevent the merge from happening without an approver. So rather than having it in the pipeline, so once we're pushing a main, it's already gone through enough people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's exactly how we do it at GitLab. I literally cannot push to main with developer access. For the handbook for a bunch of projects that I work on, I am not allowed to push to main. It has to be a merge request. And that's a really good idea because I mess things up all the time. So I feel like when you're looking at a CI/CD solution, when you're looking at DevOps, you want it such that the merge to main is there's a gate before that, but once you merge it, good job. It's gone through enough people's eyes that it's good. And I can actually I can show you what a merge request looks like on GitLab.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, should we disable? Because we were just committing to main. On the stream, should we disable that, or at least show people how they could disable it?
Yeah. So, and this is my personal GitLab. So it's I'm the owner and the maintainer. So with owner maintainer access, you can push to whatever branch you want, buddy, even if it's protected. But when you're looking at a merge request, and this is what I like about GitLab, when you're looking at the actual merge request page, it shows you an overview. This is where you, normally it's like a tell me why this merge request needs to happen. And then it talks about what's being merged into what. You can create approval, and you can make approval required to move forward. So a manager or a skip level manager has to say yes. And then it would tell you, when it was merged, or it gives you the option to revert. Like, let's say you merge and you need to revert. That's right there. And it shows you everything that's happened down here. Let me find a merge request from my work. Let me see what Emilio's got to say here. At my company, merging to main releases to our shared test environment. Then we tag commits in main to deploy to production. That's cool.
I like that too.
Yeah.
It's a good workflow.
They say it works fairly fast. I think that's a great idea.
Emilio, I bet you got a story there.
It's okay.
I mean, there was one time, but
it was.
We all had one
time. Everyone has a one time, right? Let me see. Okay, yeah. Here's my my work merge request that I have. All right.
And it's dark theme.
Yeah. So this is how I keep track. If it's dark theme, it's for work, and if it's light theme, it's personal.
That's clever, man.
That is my instant. I know what I'm working on.
Smart.
And I'm usually on work more than on my personal, so dark is better for me. So when I create an MR, and this is for the GitLab handbook, which is our 50,000 page document that documents how we do things.
50,000 pages.
It is way specific, like crazy specific. And it's for every single job from the CEO down to I mean, there's not really a lowly level job. I'd say I'm probably lowest on the totem pole, to be honest. But the overview on this, all of this comes with every merge request to the handbook. It's a huge list of like, what do you need to do, what should be happening, etc., etc. Right now, this is my request to add a section to the Twitch page that I created for Educator Evangelist. I document exactly what needs to be done in order to run a Twitch show effectively. And I wanted to add, hey, once you're done with a stream, there's still some work to do section. So I might be the only person who names my branches like this. I see a lot of name, main, and then a bunch of numbers, which is fine if it works for you. Amelia, real quick, asked, how did I get that revert button in the MR? Does it show in yours? It could be quite nice. It might be because I'm owner maintainer that it shows me that. But that's my personal, and it's the ultimate version. It's the gold version of GitLab, so it might depend on the version you have and that your company's using. So you can see it's a live request. It's still master right now, but they're working on changing that because, like I said, it's a 50,000 page like handbook. So changing master to main involves a lot of changes. Oh, it got merged. Oh no, that's the pipeline. Never mind. So it shows you the pipeline, what went well in the pipeline. If everything passes, usually you're good to go. When something doesn't pass, that's when someone needs to figure out what's going on, and you can actually start commenting on the code and stuff like that. So here's some comments about like what my boss thinks we should do. You can actually go into the changes and comment directly on it as well. And you can start a review of that code and you can actually make those changes. So I've had people say, hey, you made a mistake, I fixed your typo. It brings up a button that says use this version, and it throws it into the branch and just makes that change right in comments. I love it. Oh my God. I love working at GitLab. And you can see what pipelines have run. You can see how many commits it has. And then eventually it just gets merged and tossed in. And once it hits main, it's live for us. Once it hits the head branch. And that's what work is. What is that? Do you hear that?
Like kind of sounded like somebody talking in the background.
Yeah.
I think that's just part of the background music track.
It might have been. Oh, I thought it was like a man whispering in my ear. And yeah, so TerraRex, yeah, GitLab is a lot like GitHub in that it's a code repository, but it's a lot more than that as well. We are the DevOps solution. So it's an all-in-one DevOps package. You don't have to have several different pieces that connects to a repository. It's just GitLab. And that's where I work. And thanks, Emilio. He says, it seriously rocks. It's been ahead of its time for many, many years now. Today is actually a release day. It's 14.3 today.
Oh, what's new in 14.3?
I don't even know what's new in 14. Thanks for asking me, because now I got to do work.
Also, iOS 14.3.
14.3. Migrating empty projects is managed, plan, create. Let me see if I can find like a release, like an article.
Probably under that releases page. Oh, like a blog post.
Yeah.
Let somebody else sum it up for us. I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually want to read the release notes.
Yeah, come on. I'm a bad employee right now. I did not. Oh, the Gitpod workspace from a merge request. That's pretty exciting, actually. I showed you Gitpod last week, I think. Thanks, Emilio. That's
really
correct.
familiar.
22nd. They announced today. Like today was like an announcement, and then the 22nd is when it rolls out. Gitpod is the VS Code instance directly in.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So like I've been using the Web IDE today, but you can use Gitpod, and it's a fully functioning VS Code inside of your browser. And it might take a second to roll up. It was taking a little while earlier today for me, but straight up VS Code in your browser with a terminal and everything.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, you can configure it. So like it can have the same settings. So like if I didn't have my computer, then I could just still use the same Gitpod and everything's already there.
It's
almost like a Docker image, but for I guess you call it an IDE.
Yeah, it's like a Docker IDE. But yeah, you can install extensions directly into it. Graphic user interface, GUI. Wait, no, not GUI. Yeah, GUI. Right here, you can any changes you make, you can commit right here. I think you can do Git in the terminal. Let's find out.
I just think so.
How about I try and make a new branch?
It'd be really silly if it was called Gitpod and you couldn't do Git in the terminal.
There he is.
Boom.
Yep. Now I need to also, holy crap, I just did a Git command in the terminal without having to look it up.
Nice.
That's kind of a big deal, y'all. Because when Brandon taught me Git, it was all graphics. It was all GitHub desktop. So the first time someone asked me if I knew Git, I said, yeah. And they were like, oh, yeah. And they started talking about the terminal. I was like, hold up. Okay, how do I delete a branch now?
I always use a GUI. I go to the repo in the browser and I say delete branch.
Actually, I'm just gonna do it in GitLab. Let's just go to the divas because I just created. Actually, so check it out. So I'm going to. So when you push a new branch, there's no upstream branch and asks if you want to create one. And I'm like, yes. And it creates one. And then when I'm in my GitLab.
Look how happy
menu.
You are.
And that's the other thing. This is my pineapple shirt fun face and my employee. Yeah, and Emilio was like, you didn't push it, so it should be fine. But like also like, let's go ahead and... I'm pushing it to delete it. And once we're here, you can see there's two branches. Diva is the one I just made, and main, which is protected. So can't delete.
Smart.
And I'm just going to delete that branch. And then...
That's how I delete branches in Git.
That's right. And here I'm on Diva. We should do git pull. Yeah. And no such reference fetched. Git fetch.
Do you have to go back to the main branch?
Oh yeah. There we go.
And then pull.
There we go. And now there should be no Diva branch.
There we go.
It should be like that doesn't exist.
So, yeah, I definitely take the blame for not teaching PJ Git on the command line because, yeah, I know that the command line exists and I know I can Google how to do things if I need to, but I just like using a GUI instead. And
Listen, it's
The-
better. Well,
Yeah, it's so much
I
easier.
like it. Yeah, it's way
visual.
easier.
I like the GUIs that have those like graphs or charts where you can see like how things merge back in and where stuff is.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get some of that kind of with the command line, but even like seeing what's changed, like what are the changes I'm committing in, I can just quickly see a GUI. But
Yeah.
yeah, thanks, Emilio. No shame in using GUIs. I don't
That's
think so
right.
either.
No
There
shame.
are some people that will shame you though, and shame on them. So like, you
Yeah,
don't really know
that's-
Git if you can't use the command line. Like,
That's a rubber glue situation if I've ever heard one. You tried to put the
where
shame on me, but
I'm
I am
rubber and you're
rubber
glue.
and you are glue, so the shame sticks to you. As far as I can tell, Gitpod has like all of them, a lot of them. I closed it out. Let me. Let's go. Actually, just go to the main opening Gitpod, and I'll spin up another instance. But I'm pretty sure almost all the extensions are there. TerraX.
That'd be cool.
That'd be real cool, huh?
I'm curious, Terex, what are some of the exceptions in Codespaces? So, Codespaces is GitHub's version of VS Code in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like there's some restrictions to it, which, if I'm being honest, I haven't played around a lot with Codespaces yet myself. But I'm genuinely curious.
We could look up, or like when we find out what the exceptions are, and we can just search for it and see if it's here. But I know that Codespaces was a. Isn't there like a thing where GitHub, when you hit like period in the browser, it brings it up for you, right?
Yep.
Java and Docker. Let's find Docker. Looks like we can do it.
I mean, what happens when you click the button? Or click the install button?
It says installing.
Yeah, it looks like it's working.
Yep, and then if we go here,
I even see Docker on the that left panel as well.
Yeah, installed. There it is. We got it.
How's that, TerraX? Did we get farther here than Codespaces?
Did we do it good? Did I do good, Papa? Papa, can you hear me? Yeah, and Gitpod there's a lot of like it's fairly new. I think it's 14.1, so June, July, and yeah, I mean whatever works for you. Like again, like I'm never gonna tell anyone this is what you should use. I want everyone to know about like options and like what they have. I don't know about Gitpod working with GitHub, but I know.
I think it does.
I would imagine it does, right?
So I just went to gitpod.io, which is their landing page, and there's a try now button with the GitLab logo, the GitHub logo, and the Bitbucket logo. Gitpod.io.
Gitpad is available for anyone who wants to make something though.
Oh, you already signed in, so it skipped the landing page for you.
Yeah, hey,
it says to
that
try it
cool,
with
though?
GitHub.
That's the workspace I was just in.
Oh, cool.
And it's still there.
Yeah, they say open a workspace, start from any Git context.
Yeah,
and it's open source on GitHub. That's cool.
Hey, y'all. Check out Gitpod. Oh, I got my first spam comment!
What?
Do I want to become famous?
Not really.
No.
I like I saw a picture the other day. It was like Justin Bieber just trying to eat. I forget if he's like eating lunch or ice cream, but like it zoomed out and there was security holding back throngs of people who just wanted to watch Justin Bieber eat food.
Nah, I'm good.
Like I don't want to ever be that famous. Like, I don't mind being known,
Somewhat famous?
but like, yeah, like I'd say if I go to certain conferences, a couple people might recognize me, and
Okay.
that's about the level of recognizability. Make up that word.
Recognize me.
That's where I like to be. Like if I'm at a specific event that like is why people might know me. So like a conference in this case, sure. But like if I'm just at the grocery store, I don't want somebody coming up to me asking like questions about .NET. They're like, I'm just trying to get some food for my family, man. Like,
Yeah.
Can we talk about this later?
I don't know. So I tried to log in with GitHub, and it was saying email already exists. So I wonder if you can't.
You probably. I think that's the login. Like if you go to your settings, I'll bet there's like a connect to GitHub button. Integrations.
Wow, variables.
Environment variables.
Environment variables, integrations. Oh,
there it is.
Oh. Connect, baby. There we go.
That's easy.
And then I should be able to go to workspaces, and I can do a new workspace. No. And
yeah, so it would be like, which repo do you want to create a workspace for?
So they do have plans. Open. Aha. So the free plan comes with 50 hours and a 30-minute timeout. You can purchase personal, unlimited.
$10 a month.
I imagine the way it's connected to GitLab is through like if you have like a certain license connects to GitPod. I do know that DNS Michi, who was on the stream earlier, is doing a lot with GitPod right now, talking to the people who work there and doing some streams. In fact, let me see if I can find a stream real quick so I can like actually share a link. And Jens is asking about Copilot.
Ooh. So if you haven't heard of Copilot, it's basically this new tool that GitHub came out with where the way it works is GitHub has all these open source repos. So they train some machine learning models to comb through them, figure out, almost be able to have like predictive IntelliSense. IntelliSense being like, hey, I see you started typing this word. Can I autocomplete it for you? Copilot takes another step further to say, instead of just this word, let me autocomplete it for you. It's like, hey, it looks like you're trying to access a REST API. Let me write all of that code for you. And so I kind of like to think of it as bringing in the docs. So like, I don't have to go to like, maybe I'm trying to write some code to access a weather API. Normally I'd have to go to the weather API docs and learn how to do it. But there's probably an open source example already that's already done it. So the idea behind GitHub Copilot is that it'll learn from all these existing examples, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You also don't have to read the docs. It's like, oh yeah, you're accessing that weather API. Here's how somebody else has done it. Blah.
Blah, blah.
So blah. It just vomits out code. And so some people are like, oh, this is it. Like finally developers have eaten their own tail and
we're obsolete.
Like, we coded ourselves out of jobs. But it's like, no, not really. Like if you read the code, it's not going to do exactly what you want it to do. It'll get you close, but just like the examples in the docs don't do exactly what you need to do. They'll kind of show you some examples of other ways of doing similar things. But yeah, I mean, it levels up the developers.
Yeah.
So like we don't have to spend time reading docs. But yeah, to answer your question, no, I haven't tried it yet. I'm not sure how good it is for .NET. When I first saw Copilot being announced, it was advertised heavily for JavaScript, I think Python. There's a couple languages. It was like, if you're a JavaScript developer, go try it. And I was like, we're in a C#? You got some C# in there? And
guess it's C#. Aww.
But I'm excited to try it. I think it'd be nice to just because I've seen people. You just make a comment, so like you comment and say like write a method to access this weather API, and then just like boom, dumps out code for you.
Yeah,
and that'd be great because then I would just have to tweak that code. I wouldn't have to, like I said, look up how to do it, read the docs. Ooh, it's integrated into code spaces. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the way. Oh no! No, don't hack my password. I saw Cassie do when it was first announced. She was playing with it on stream, and she was just doing stuff like, "What's like? I want to find an integer between blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, tell it to do a fizz buzz," and it was like, "Here's your fizz buzz," and like. It was dope. It's neat. But a lot of the people who are like, oh, it's going to, like, you have to have the know-how to apply it afterward. You don't want to have a developer that's just going to blindly trust what shows up. You know, like there's a sense of like, you do want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence on what shows up. But like you said, Brandon, I do think it is the same as going to the docs and finding examples or finding someone else who's made it, which every developer I know does that.
Maybe. Oh, shoot. I'm going on vacation. I won't be here. I was about to say next week's episode. Well, next episode, we could try... I could see if I can figure out how to get code or Copilot. I almost said Code Pilot. See if I can get that working and see if like maybe we could then go into our YAML and say like publish this to Azure.
Please publish to Azure. I'm gonna keep looking for possible. I don't know what an Ackerman function is.
I don't know. I mean, Jens is smarter than me.
Jens is smarter than me too.
Y'all, Jens is involved in launching rockets into space. Check out like suborbitals.
Real rockets.
I think they're launching out of Copenhagen, if I remember correctly. But
also really dope Lego stuff. They're separate though. It's, like it's not Lego rockets to space. Just so you know. Yeah.
Andy knows what Ackerman functions are.
Oh man. Amazing. So we're at time, and we noticed that this episode we didn't get stuck in something and then blink our eyes and it's like an hour later we're like, oh god, we have to wrap up and we're not done. We're done. We're done. We did it. Oh, Emilio with the look at this.
I assume that's
they're gonna be buddies now.
Probably Dutch. Oh man,
it looks
bad
Dutch
American
to me. All right. We got a real United Nations up in the chat, y'all. I love it. You love to see it. Well, like you said, you're going to be gone next week and the week after, I believe.
About a month. Yeah, my wife and I were going to Africa. We booked a bucket list vacation back in 2019. Spent a lot of money on it, so we're doing it. Hopefully they'll let us in. But
that's right.
We're fully vaccinated and happy to wear masks. So
absolutely,
I know it'll be a little different than the vacation we booked in 2019 because of that. But
yep,
we're gonna go see some giraffes, some elephants.
Heck yeah, man!
Hopefully, at least
that's gonna be good. That's gonna be real good. So you're gone 2 weeks. So we won't be back until after I've gone to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time because that's September 3rd is the first night of Halloween Horror Nights. Perfect, Terex. Oh, Terex, I'm glad you were able to get that personal plan. Nice. Well, man, enjoy GitPod. This has been a productive episode. I'm going to be looking for highlights from this about a bunch of different stuff. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please follow, if you don't already, follow Brandon at The Code Traveler. Follow me at Metzing Around. Find us on Twitter, same names. And I'll talk to you guys another time.